Happy Friday, everybody. So we want to start off this show on a more serious note. So if you guys haven't heard about the beautiful, I think it's Kada Scott. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. This was a young girl. She was 23 years old. She was a Penn State University student. She was into fashion. She was working at a senior citizen, like the living, assisted living places. And she went to do an overnight shift from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. She took her mother's car and she has not been found for the past 2 weeks. But unfortunately, the authorities found Kada, but they found her remains. Um, this story has been getting news coverage all over. This happened in the Philadelphia area. Unfortunately, her life was taken by a guy named Keon King. And Keon King had already had prior convictions against his name. And unfortunately, because of the person who made these attempts against him, they didn't show up for court. They dropped the cases. And I hope we all can see when you don't follow through on these things that you are putting another person in jeopardy. This young queen should not had her life taken. Um, Something he might have said or did or whatever got her to leave and go talk to him because there looked like there was minimal conversation, text messages between them. But it's just really saddened to me. Aunt Wow and I are very big on having the tough conversations of things that are happening in the world. And we cannot ignore what happened to Kada Scott. We cannot. We want to say rest in peace to her. We also want to send out our condolences to her family. And in addition to that, another serious issue. On October the 10th, we celebrate World Mental Health Day. Today, Another Mother, we will deep dive into mental health. And this came about in regards to Gucci Man and his wife speaking candidly about mental health issues while they were being interviewed by the Breakfast Club. We will also discuss how Nicki Minaj got tied into this conversation, guys. So we got a lot of things to talk about between, the food stamps being shut off, the No Kings protests that are taking place, Brandy walking off the stage, just a lot of things that we have to talk about. But we definitely want to talk about these very, very serious topics at the beginning of the show because if things don't get under control, things are going to get out of control, guys. So, all this and more on Another Mother, episode 39. Create Zen.
Create dopamine.
Create Zen.
Create
I
dopamine.
create Zen.
I create dopamine.
Create Zen.
I create dopamine.
We another mother audio. Hey.
Another mother patio. Hey.
We another mother patio. Hey.
We another mother patio.
Here we go. Here we go to the mother freaking show. Here we go to the mother freaking show.
Shut up.
What's today, guys? It's Friday. Do the Friday dance, y'all. Do the Friday dance, y'all. Hey. Say, do the Friday dance, y'all. Hey. Ow. Do the Friday dance, y'all. Hey. Hey. And shut up. All right,
Shut
guys.
up.
Get your coffee, get your tea, and get your light. Okay, with that high note, Aunt Weezy. Guys, my name is Lisa Renee, and this is my co-host.
Aunt Wild, the big black man, Aunt Weezy, what up?
And y'all, where he's from? He's from 916 Sac Town.
916 Sac Town.
And we another mother Poddio.
Hey!
Hey. There was an interview with Gucci Mane. He has been very public with struggling with bipolar as well as schizophrenia. And October the 10th was Mental Health Day. As much as we want to recognize breast cancer awareness, rocking my pink and my pink watch, shout out to those who are in the fight. But we also want to this month to recognize those who are struggling with mental health. And one thing that his wife had talked about how she takes the cell phones, out of his hand. Like I gotta just take them from him because the world doesn't need to know or the world doesn't need to see what you're experiencing. And some people were dropping comments saying, hey, maybe Nicki Minaj husband should do the same thing. Because they're feeling like Nicki Minaj, because obviously she went posting, she had Jay-Z in a pink wig, a pink little, tutu, like short shirt. Um, and just started, going and saying certain things because they did bring her name up. Like he said, he had to apologize to her because he did some inappropriate things online. But Nikki might have been upset because his wife mentioned that she wished that some people would just acknowledge him, for opening up the door for them. And Nicki Minaj has acknowledged him, probably not even up to 3 years ago on the stage when she won an award. And so, I feel like Nicki Minaj, whatever feeling she has with the Jay-Z whole thing, any moment she gets to attach to that, she is because she clowned, Charlemagne again, the God, calling him, I think she said fraud, and pretty much like he's kissing Jay-Z's butt and things like that. But a lot of people were saying, Nicki's husband, you need to take her phone because some there people are speculating that something's off with her. True that. I mean, I can't say that or not. But people are saying that she's just kind of out of control and she is experiencing, or what people seem to feel like she's experiencing some type of mental health breakdown. I don't think Nicki Minaj's husband could take the phone from her. I'm just going to be very honest. Knowing how Nicki is, I think if he tried that, that would be crazy. I don't think it could happen. A lot of times with celebrities, they have a lot of yes people, and these people are getting paid, so they're willing to do whatever it needs to be done. However, if someone is sick, I think you got to be the one to stand up and be the one to say, we do have to get this person help. These decisions are not working in our benefit in any type of way. So some stuff she said, it wasn't clear. It didn't make sense. It obviously makes sense in her head. But to the mass public, a lot of people, when you hear it, they weren't very clear of some of the things that she was posting. But I do give kudos to Gucci Man to acknowledge that I do have issues, to go back and right the wrongs that he did for people that he did hurt. But I think also his wife gave an example that if you have someone that's struggling with mental health, perhaps maybe you do need to delete apps off of their phone so that they can get help. And wow.
Yeah, I was very impressed with that interview. Gucci Mane is one of those people. The reason there's a lot of layers. The reason I didn't get a chance to watch the whole 60 minutes, but I watched a good portion of it.
Mm-hmm.
That actually kept my attention. It was really good. And
Mm-hmm.
what one thing about that I liked, number one, just on a brother tip, is Gucci Mane. You listen to his music. First of all, he got good music and all this stuff, all the things. But you know, I was glad to see it doesn't get highlighted people like Gucci Mane and others. You know what I'm saying? I'll throw even Lil Boosie in there. Like Lil Boosie will be off and doing some wild stuff, but he's very smart, very intelligent, very well spoken, all these kinds of things. So I love that fact that that got highlighted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number one. Number two, I super duper applaud the everything about it. Right? Gucci's been very brave out here
Right.
in general. Like when he stopped drinking and smoking and all the things, he was very public about that. He was very public about the struggles in that and just how it affected him, really. I don't even know if he really had a problem necessarily. I'm not going to even
Right.
put that jacket on him. It just was affecting him in a way that just wasn't conducive to a healthy lifestyle. So super duper kudos to then peel back the onion again, talking about I just thought it was schizophrenia. I don't know, I didn't know it was bipolar in there. I just thought it was
Hmm.
schizophrenia. But nonetheless, pulling back the onion and still standing on it in a way that's still, I mean, hate to use this over cliched term because the media market is now taking it and making it terrible, but in a way that's still kind of gangster from the standpoint of, hey man, this is what it is, standing on my two. It doesn't make me less of a man, it doesn't make me less of anything, right? And I like those highlights surrounding the situation. I like how that particular dynamic was highlighted. And then with respect to taking the phones thing, that's extremely in tune. And there is a willingness to relinquish as well. So again, not putting nothing on Nikki or anything like that. But like you said, if this is something that happens to be going, because there is a lot going on with the stress and all
Hmm.
these things, and
Yeah.
I know she's still a pretty new mother, and she's
Hmm.
in her 40s and all that. We don't know all the changes that women have to go through at that stage in life that she's
Hmm.
around and entering in. There could be a multitude of things that are happening, right? And so if her husband went to take the phone, there needs to be a relinquish of that. There needs to be an acknowledgement of that. And she may not know how to do that yet, right?
Hmm.
So then that's a whole nother set of things. Gucci is extremely self-aware even in all his problems. So as hard as that is for Keisha, him being very self-aware really helps that situation,
Yeah.
right? Like he's I'm sick of it. I don't want no problems. I don't want no more of it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if I'm starting to enter in, like she notices all those little cues. He stops talking. Every word has a period behind it. She went into specific things that are triggers that she noticed that he could be slipping back in, and then she'll address it, and they'll snap out of it, and they'll keep it moving. So I just thought it was extremely awesome.
Hmm.
And I know we're going to kind of get into this, but I think
Yeah.
that not only being, an entertainer, successful, all the people that it seems to be like that's maybe where Nikki was triggered in that respect, in saying that, a lot of, because Keisha was very, Gucci was trying to give him love, Keisha was like, nope, they didn't reach out, they didn't do nothing.
Right.
And I kind of laughed because yeah, that's definitely a wife and a protective, like that's her protective side coming out. Like this is my
Hmm.
man, and y'all ain't giving him his flowers, like he deserves. Like like they'll say stuff, but they don't really say stuff, kind of thing. And so that could be what triggered her. But I just thought overall it was a very very good it was a very, very good segment, and it speaks to a lot of the surrounding dynamics that the world is now in the climate of.
Yeah, and we'll get into that. Yeah,
And we'll get into that.
absolutely.
That's why I said I don't want to
Yeah.
jump the gun, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I just think it's very, very, very important to recognize it because listen, there was a lot of key things in there. The loneliness feeling like you don't have anybody to talk to.
Let me go
Yeah.
into what mental health is, and because you're kind of tying into that a little bit, because I don't think people are very clear on what mental health is, right? We hear bipolar, we hear schizophrenia, but like what really is mental health? So let me break that down to them, and then I'm going to pass the baton back to you. All right, so mental health refers to a person's emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It encompasses a range of factors including emotional state, feelings of happiness, sadness, anxiety, or contentment, cognitive function, how we think, process information, and make decisions, behavioral patterns, our actions, habits, and coping mechanisms, social interactions, our relationship with others, and our ability to connect socially. Good mental health allows individuals to cope with life challenges, maintain healthy relationships, and achieve their goals. However, conversely, poor mental health can lead to mental health disorders, which are characterized by significant disturbances in your thoughts, and your emotions and behaviors that interfere with your daily function. Mental health is a dynamic concept that can fluctuate over time, and it's influences by various factors such as genetics, environment, life experiences, and personal coping strategies. It's important to prioritize your mental health and seek support when needed to maintain overall well-being. So I want to say that, and while I'll pass it back to you.
Yeah, that was some of the when he said, it was too much, it was in my brain, I couldn't take it, I had to release it, I was sick of it, right? And if you pay attention, that happens a lot more than you think internally. There's a lot of times where I can at least speak for me. There's a lot of times where you just have to just accept you don't have all the answers. You're going through something right now and you just need some help. And whatever that help is, that help, obviously, professional help is a good thing, but that help could be therapeutic things. You know what I'm saying? Things that get you in a certain state so that you can then carry on and be the best version of yourself, which keeps you aligned with yourself and keeps you clear. There's a level of clarity, and I think that's what we're searching for in a lot of those stages. Trust me, I just trust me. It's I'm talking with you. I ain't talking at you. I promise you. I'm talking with you. Like I'm talking with you. And that was another thing he said too. He said, you know, the reality of the situation is in because I don't know if it was Emily or Charlemagne, they asked him, well, who do you turn to or who do you, whatever. And he was like, yeah, I'm paraphrasing his answer. You pretty much have people to turn to, but it's yourself,
Mm-hmm.
really, because
Mm-hmm.
you're the person who has to do the work, right? Like you're the person who has to do your work. I say this phrase all the time, and don't steal it, y'all. Y'all better not steal it and take it. And if you do, give me props. But you can't invite anybody into your house until your house is clean and taken care of. So it's going to be hard to invite anybody in when you have all this going on that doesn't allow people in a healthy way, right? And then that ties back to the kind of people that you have in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like he said, when he went to jail and got out, he pretty much cut everybody off from his formal life that was his friends because he wasn't right. They knew he wasn't right. And when he was acting erratic and when it benefited them, like giving them gifts, giving them jewelry and all money and all that kind of stuff, they were still taking it. They weren't being like, yo, man, Gucci, you chirping, dog. No, man, I don't want your money. Man, you're not well. Like, and it's just very important to recognize all the things that stimulate you, what your triggers are, how you react to them triggers, and how to avoid being triggered or do your best to avoid being triggered and recognize a trigger that's going to be a prelude to the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? The triggers come in cycles. There's a lot of times if you look, there's a certain pattern that's going on, and by the time you're triggered, and now we're focused on the trigger when you need to focus on the whole thing around it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's all ownership on your end. It does not alleviate. I just told one of my good friends about this literally 2 days ago because he's going through a situation and everything about the situation he was pointing, and I told him, I just paused and I said, hey, look, I said, I know it's a lot going on right now. I said, and trust me, I am talking with you. This is happening right now. I said, but listen, I said, and take this for what it will. You can throw it away because I can already tell he was ready to jump in and you don't even got to, but just listen real quick. When you're looking at all these situations, you would do yourself a huge favor by starting with yourself first
Mm-hmm.
because that's what you can control. It does not take away anything anybody else did. It's not giving them any excuses. It's holding them just as accountable. It's not doing any of that. Again, this is personal work. I ain't talking at nobody. I'm talking with you. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't take away any of that. But what that does is it puts you back in the driver's seat to help better recognize situations that are going to put you in a state where you are reacting this way. Helps you better recognize. Nothing is foolproof or going to be learned until the day we check out. but it helps you better recognize it. In that, then you're going to make different decisions in how you deal with people, your movements, decisions
Mhm.
that are going to affect your long term. It does nobody any good for you to make a decision that you knew wasn't the right decision for you, and then go into that decision and blame the other person for a decision you made. These are all parts of the mental health. That's a big portion of it. When you're going to learn tools and you have to go learn tools and get help, these are big things that it's important to recognize, because that's that God, please grant me the serenity to be able to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That phrase literally goes on in my head at least, how many hours are there? How many minutes are there in an hour?
Yeah.
Probably 130 times each day, because that's where it starts. And then you do the work from there. So I can go on all day. Lisa Renee?
Yeah, and I would say, we want to give you the information, but one coping strategy that I use to protect my mental health, I'll give you two of them. One is learning how to say no.
Mm,
And I
huge,
still don't do a good job at it. I'm
huge,
better
huge.
because you know your body, you know what you can and you cannot do, and people will pull you a million ways. And sometimes you just have to say no. Because if you try to do a million things, you're going to burn yourself out. You're not going to be your productive self. And so, if it's not a major priority, I have to learn how to say no. So, that's one strategy. And no, it's not easy because you don't want to hurt family members. You want to be there for everybody. But the minute that you feel something in your gut, you don't want to do this and you do it anyway, you're
Yep,
putting everything over your mental health at that moment.
yep, yep.
You know,
Agree.
you're putting and you're gonna feel it because you knew in your gut you shouldn't have done it, and then you did it.
Yep.
And it's frustrating, to you. Another thing I do with social media, it's funny when I post things, people often start contacting me. Well, let me tell you a little secret. I pre-post stuff. My reels and stuff are scheduled. So when you see me post stuff, that's not really me. That's the system
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
doing it at that time, and that protects my mental health. Now, it's
Mm-hmm.
not like I won't come on if I see a people comment and all of that because I do love you guys and I want to always, reach and touch back or whatever. But the less I see, the better I protect my mental health.
1000.
It's no disrespect against anybody or anything, but sometimes filtering all these different things, all these different pictures and all of these different things from everybody, and especially if it's not quality stuff too as well, it can derail you, well, me, off of my focus. So I
Yeah.
have to limit my interaction with those type of activities because they are not adding value to my life. If something's adding value to my life, I'm going to look at it. It's bringing joy or it's doing something. But if it's not adding value, it don't. I.e., I think somebody forwarded me like five messages yesterday, and I didn't look at none of them,
Mm-hmm.
because what you might enjoy doesn't necessarily mean that I will enjoy that. Not only that, I'm trying to spend less time on social media because it's not healthy for my mental health. And truth
Correct.
be told, it's not healthy for all of our mental health to be on there constantly.
Correct.
So, there's a reason why people have to detox social media and do those things. So I'm telling you, social media, less would be more.
Yeah.
Unless it's positive things and there's positive affirmations or positive sermons like from pastor or things that are just light and easy. Those type of things are easy to consume. But you guys know in the midst of that, there's a lot of negativity going on. And with whether you like it or not, if you're looking at it and clicking on it and scrolling, it is getting into your mental.
Yeah.
And then you start having conversations with friends and family, and maybe sometimes even getting into disagreements because of stuff you've seen. And
Yep.
so less is better. If I don't see it, then it doesn't have to come in and it throws you off your focus. And right now, there's just like Aunt Wow said, there's a lot going on in the world and we have to protect our mental health. So guys, take some of those strategies that Aunt Wow and I gave you. And we're going to be talking more about this throughout the show. That is our health topic for this week, really getting into mental health, because if you don't think that mental health can take you over, people have committed the S words because of mental health.
Phew.
And they've also taken other people's lives because of mental health. They've hurt family members. I know personal. Aunt Wow knows some of these things that I'm talking about
Man.
in our own family. So mental health is a health. It's a very serious thing. Be mindful what you put in your mind and what you put in your body, because there
Yeah.
could be a side effect. So with that, we're gonna go into Aunt WEEZA Sports.
Sports, sports, sports. So I'll just address the elephant in the room because I know when we're winning, I'm bragging. I'm not very happy with us right now. And there's a multitude of things. We don't look very good. Defense doesn't look very good. Defense is we're not getting any pressure on the quarterback. The last 2 weeks, last couple weeks, both Caleb Williams and now Dak Prescott, whenever they have dropped down back to pass, they have called their girlfriend. They have cooked dinner. They have made a salad. They had all kind of time back there because we're not bringing any pressure. We're not generating any pressure. They've been back there sitting, chilling. They've been looking at the crowd, waving at girls and doing the little Michael Jackson dance. Oh, there's somebody. Somebody's open now. So we haven't been generating any pressure. That's number one. Pause, I think. I don't know. Pressure feels like there needs to be a pause there. Number one. Number two, our back line, which are our DBs. Now, mind you, we're not generating any pressure. So that's number one. But number two, I'm getting the impression that our defensive coordinator, Joe Witt. So I'm getting the impression that he's not very comfortable with our back line and our secondary because all we do is sit in the zone. So if you're sitting in a zone, normally you're getting pressure on the quarterback. We're not getting any pressure on the quarterback, and then we're sitting in the zone. So the receivers are just running anywhere and getting open, and it's just a party back there. You know what I'm saying? And the DBs ain't really acting like they can cover anybody. We're not generating any pressure, so that's on the defensive side of the ball. On the offensive side of the ball, I don't know if it's the software slump. I'm not getting on this new school like everything is hot one day and everything is not the other day. I'm not doing that. I'm still very happy and all the kinds of things. But Jaden Daniels, I don't know if it's a sophomore slump. I don't know what it is. It's not even that he's horrible. He just isn't quite as sharp. It's not quite as sharp as he was last year. Even in the earlier games, he's not quite as sharp. He's just not. And ironically, ever since the handshake with my girl, because you know how much I like that light skinned girl, ever since the handshake, you know what I'm saying, things have been going down, brother. We done lost two, and we haven't really looked good. We lost against the Bears. You fumbled. You had fumble issues this week. Turnover issues. We're just not really. So yes, give it to us. The Skins. I'll call them the Commanders. When they lose, and they will be the Commanders because I hate that name. How about that? So they'll be the Commanders when they'll get the Skins when we start winning again. So that's number one in sports. Number two, NBA started last night. Very interesting to see. The Rockets and the Thunder went to double overtime. And that was a very big, those are two teams we might be seeing in the Western Conference Finals. I know a lot of Laker people, Golden State people. I actually think Golden State, we'll get to them. But those teams, it went to double overtime. Both teams are very, very well. Oklahoma looks poised to try and repeat Houston with all their additions. that's going to be a fun season and a fun matchup throughout the season because I think they're going to be toggling the 1 and 2 spots, to be honest with you. Then the Lakers, Luka looked really good. Now, first game, LeBron's not playing because he's dealing with the sciatica, all the kinds of things. But Luca looked really good. Luca looks thin and trim, pause. Looks really good. So I do think the Lakers got action. I just think they need to work with the cohesiveness. They got DeAndre Ayton, which is good. They got a legitimate big man. That's what they needed. But the Warriors look really. Hey, Al Horford came. Them OGs, them old cats at the Warriors look really, really good. So that's going to be very interesting to watch, and we got more games, as you guys know. And then last but not least, is we got the World Series starting on Friday. Today,
Hmm. Hey.
Dodgers and the Blue Jays of Toronto. Very, very interesting. First of all, Shohei Ohtani is a robot. I really think he was built in a lab somewhere because it don't make no sense for somebody to be that good. I mean, I feel like he was built specifically to play baseball. I mean,
Right.
who on the major league level with the best baseball players in the world? He pitched 6 innings, allowed 0 runs, 0 earned runs, and he hits 3 jacks in a
Yeah.
closeout game.
Yeah.
Who does that? What
Yeah.
are we talking about? I think he was built. Me and a couple of my partners had a good discussion about this because normally when somebody's like in Japan or something, i.e., Ichiro Suzuki, a lot of the pictures you hear of them coming up through the ranks or whatever. Shohei Ohtani just showed up and he was 30 years old, and all of a sudden he's the best baseball player dang near we've ever seen outside of Barry Bonds and what's my man's name that played it? Willie Mays and Babe Ruth. Like outside of these people, he's the best ever we've ever seen. And it's
Hmm.
funny. I'm being funny, but it's like I feel like they might. Who is more equipped to play and excel at a? He there's no wrong. He can hit. He can pitch. He can steal bases. He can hit for power. He can hit for base, everything he does. So that's going to be a very interesting matchup because Toronto beat Seattle, and I was kind of pulling for Seattle. No big reason. I didn't have a
Yeah.
dog in the fight, but I did kind of want to see a West Coast World Series. I did kind of
Right.
want to see LA and Seattle. Seattle had never been before. That city was on fire. That city was buzzing. I did kind of want to see that. This proposes a different matchup now. Now the LA, as opposed to having home field advantage if Seattle had
Hmm.
won, now LA has to travel to Toronto. George Springer continues to show up and get big hits. They were down 3-1. I think it was the bottom of the seventh. He hits the 3-run jack, puts them up 4-3. They win. Now LA has to go to Toronto. Both lineups, 1 through 9. Everybody can hit. Everybody can hit for power. Everybody can hit for bases. The pitching lineups and the pitching matchups that they have, the bullpens. It's going to be a bullpen matchup. It's going to turn out to be a very, very, very interesting series. So stay tuned. That starts tonight. West and East again, but instead of LA, New York, it's LA, Toronto. So Kendrick and Drake, we going back at it again. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my
Kendrick
God.
and Drake, we going back at it again. So stay tuned. I'm looking forward to it. It should be really fun. So stay tuned.
All right, guys. So all over the world this weekend, if you guys missed it, I mean, me and Julian almost did. We didn't even realize there's these no KINGS protests that's been happening all over the world. People coming out based on, Big P, they just hate, they've had enough. They've like, okay, we've seen this happen, we've seen this happen, we've seen this happen, we've seen this happen. And, also people are going off on social media because this ties into this, because this is one of his things, food stamps, government assistance, SNAP benefits, those things are going to be turned off on November the 1st. So I want to say to everybody, and I've been just so busy, I didn't even know that the protests and things are out there. So I want to say good job, kudos to people who are standing for their rights, speaking up
For
for
sure.
things that you feel that are not done right. But what I will say is that many people who were probably marching, many people who are upset about the food stamps going away, I really want to know the percentage of how many of you guys voted.
Mm. mm, mm, mm,
See, I'm
mm,
okay if you voted and your vote was different to me because that really doesn't matter to me, right? What
mm,
matters to me is that you exercise your voice because when you don't exercise your voice, this type of happens.
mm,
And I know people are threatening to hurt people at Walmart because they're going to start stealing stuff. But listen, them folks at Walmart ain't got nothing to do with you and your situation. And the real people who are going to be struggling in the situation with the food stamps being gone is these little children because they didn't ask to come here.
mm,
And here's the thing, if you do something stupid, then you going to get something's going to happen to you. And y'all know how these cops are being trigger happy right now. So for some eggs and some bread and something, you got to really think about your decisions. When you are thinking irrationally like that, that's probably a sign that your mental health is taking a toll. Kevin
mm,
McCall, right? Talking about food stamps. He had a broke he broke down so bad that snot and stuff just was coming out of his mouth. Spit and stuff. That's how hurt and in pain he was. And a lot of people didn't feel bad because they feel like, well, that's karma because you don't take care of your daughter anyway. What I saw
mm,
is that he is just a beginning showing the signs of where people mental health is breaking down because so much is happening. So I have to go back and ask you, did you vote?
mm,
The reason why, guys, Aunt Wow and I, we dropped the
mm,
comedic skit, and if you're smart, you will know that we're always using our platform to raise awareness. Um, I'm not surprised by any of this.
mm,
If y'all haven't seen the writing on the wall, I don't know how much more we can tell you while you're surprised and having if you did not see when WIC and all these things were changing that food stamps wasn't going to be next, I don't know what to tell you.
yeah.
It's not done. And if you make a foolish decision behind it, nothing good is going to come from that. So I'm urging you, find another way. There's shelters, there's food banks out there that offer canned goods. And for a lot of people who have overconsumption, donate this food to these food pantries. Go to these food pantries first, get the necessary things that you need. But don't go up here in Walmart taking from people because I'm telling you, that's going to have another adverse effect. And you think we all hurting now. Now, let me tell you, you're not the only one hurting. There's people who don't got food stamps. We're all hurting right now. Everyone I talk to is just a paycheck away from something.
Mm,
Everyone is just trying to stay afloat. You're not alone. If anything, you've had a benefit that you've been able to utilize and use. And if you need it, that's fine. But y'all that didn't need it, man, I'm not feeling sorry for you because you're taking out of the mouths of people who actually really need it. But what I'm trying to tell you guys, if enough has not been done yet, I don't know what else. Did y'all forget about the government, all those people that got laid off earlier in the year?
mm,
Did y'all forget what's happening right now with TSA and air traffic control? Did y'all forget about women rights? Like, why are y'all shocked?
mm,
Did y'all forget about the same on same marriage that's not going to be recognized? Did y'all forget that people, I don't know, we talked about in comedic skip. I don't know what God they're talking about. I don't know. And I do, but let me clarify. In the word of God, there are things that big P is for that we are. But I also know the history too of how things were written too as well. Right? And I'm not the judge of who should do what they want and how they want. I'm not the judge of that. But I'm telling y'all, wake up. Stop freaking out and do something about it. Many of us are working two jobs. This is a job. Content creating is a job, and anybody that does it will tell you it's a job. On top of Aunt Wow and I having our other jobs, on top of Anthony running Ugly Face Productions, on top of me running Official Lisa Renee, buckle your seatbelts. All of us are working multiple jobs. We put on a great face and we put on all of this, but listen, behind these closed doors, we are trying to protect our mental health too as well because we see it all around us.
Mhm.
So kudos for the protests, but I'm going to ask yourself again, how many of y'all voted?
Mhm.
And I'm just going to leave it at that. And some of y'all might be like, well, Lisa, that's after the fact. No, it's not because you need to learn a lesson. Y'all freaking out about all these changes that are happening. We're trying to tell you your vote does count. Your vote does matter. And many of y'all chose not to do anything because y'all had y'all problems and y'all qualms with Kamala. So then that meant if you had your problems with her, then you would rather this because you knew the independents. If you voted independent, you know they weren't going to win, guys.
No.
They weren't going to get enough votes. So that was just a wasted vote.
Yeah, I tell anybody who says that, anybody who tells me, "Well, yeah, I didn't vote or I voted independent," like you're saying it like it's a badge of honor. It's not. It's not because all you do because those people that are voting like that ain't voting independent. They're not losing any votes. The only vote that if you voted independent, the only votes that are losing are votes that would be against what's happening now. Because for what's happening now, all those people that voted that, they weren't going to vote independent. They were going to vote that, right? And
Mm.
so this is just the reality of the case. It happened in 2016 as well. Same thing. All those people that voted independent, they would have voted, but those who didn't, they voted for that. And here we are.
And here we are, guys. So
Here we are.
let's start early now. Go watch the comedy skit. There was something that Anthony asked, and at the end, I responded. The undertone of that is we're trying to prepare y'all to get ready to vote. Get ready to vote. It will be here before you know. We can't change anything right now. What's done is done. Big P is it. This is it, you know? And we have to deal with whatever changes or any of those things come around it. But let's not let it happen again.
Yeah, man. And we don't have to wait till 28. If you're sick of it, you got 26. That can help tremendously. This has got to stop.
It's got to
I
stop.
mean, like for real, for real. And that's a big portion of the mental health that's going on. That's a big, listen, we got to realize how powerful these things are. This is powerful. This is powerful. TV is powerful. We have not yet, out of all these years of civilization and seeing how these idiot boxes, because this is an idiot box. This is the new idiot box. Remember how they used to call it idiot box? This is the new idiot box. What we're doing
That's
right
true.
now, we're doing it through an idiot box. We're just trying to put some love and some awareness into this idiot box.
Right.
That's kind of one of my lines that I start my album with. Hey, you giving this other F shit a chance. Excuse my language. I didn't mean to say that. I was trying to censor it, but
Hmm.
you giving this other F stuff a chance. Well, sit down and give me you're lending this other stuff an ear. Well, give me a moment. Lend me yours because there's other stuff here to say. The mental health is real. It is no accident. And the fact that we are walking around acting like this is coincidental is not, it is completely intentional. The tensions at an all-time high are completely intentional. The divide at an all-time high is completely intentional. This whole misuse of God is completely intentional. Completely. You got a mouthful of. I seen somebody say it the other day. I wish I could. You got you walking around with a mouthful of scripture and a heart full of hate. They are the
Mm.
biggest contradictions to whatever God is supposed to mean and how God has been traditionally taught. There's nothing about what's going on that is godlike.
Yeah.
In fact, it's completely the opposite. You
Okay.
have it's to the point where those that are acting irrationally are the ones aligned with them. Think there's a
Right.
coincidence there? Think about it. Those are the people that, because these are the messages you're getting all the time.
Right.
There are hateful messages all the time. Everywhere you look, it's a hate message.
Yeah.
Nobody can even agree anymore. If somebody is proven, it's actually been genius. They have convinced you to go against your better judgment.
Right.
You'll say something that you don't want. I hear this all the time. I don't want to be in an economy. I would never vote for whatever party. And mind you, like Lisa, this is about right spiritually, personally, wrong spiritually, personally. This is not a partisan argument. It
Yeah.
just so happens certain things are aligning a certain way that align with the message that I'm giving.
Yeah.
I'm not A lot of you guys are married to this entity. It doesn't matter what the ideology is because you're just doing it. That's the scary part. There is no debate anymore because you'll say something. I just seen a clip. Somebody's like, I would never vote for this party again because they wanted to be socialist. And then the person went down and broke down all the things that are happening now that are literally making this a socialist society. And I'm going to do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's listen, the big, and I'm not I'm talking about the state of affairs. I'm not talking about anybody in specific. I'm talking about the state of affairs. But if you take it a certain way, I can't be nice about it anymore. You just take it a certain way. But I am very clear. I'm talking about the state of affairs when I say this. The biggest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing you that he does not exist.
Ooh.
That's the biggest trick he ever pulled. And that's what's happening right now. And it's almost to a point where I actually feel like this is my personal opinion. This is what I would say to anybody who believes in that F stuff. I actually feel like he looks at it or they look at it a lot of ways in how we do. And I think he's just like, I'm just going to see how far I can push this because I'm that big of an egomaniac. I'm going to see how far I can put. How blind can these people really be? Because I'm going to use blind. That's a good term. I want to use some other adjectives.
Somebody actually referred to it like the Hunger Games. And I thought, wow.
No, I'm serious. I think he's like, man, I want to see how far this can
Wow.
go. I want to see how far this can go. Really, you guys are really going to follow this to the edge of the earth? I want to see how far this can go. And
Yeah.
I'm going to do it all in your face. And you guys are still blind? Now, mind you, that the that's my worried side talking. My
Mm-hmm.
glass half full side talking is on the other side, there are a lot of people who are waking up, hopefully,
Finally.
because of the turnouts, because of, quiet is kept. To the people out here, a lot of the people, the biggest coons I see are us. Why you playing? Because a lot of these
Mm.
others is out here riding, right? So just saying that to say, it sounds like we go through these topics, and I know for me personally, we could talk about these all whatever, but then I'm going to sound like a completely biased newscast, and I don't really want to sound like that because it's like I can say the same thing all the time, and I'm really out of, which is actually kind of refreshing. I can't lie, just even creatively and how I'm creating and how I'm writing things. I'm really out of the pleasantries, really. Like, I'm really serious. We can
That's
get,
why I said what I said. I want to know
no,
how
I'm
many
really out of
people
the
out
pleasantries.
there.
There's a
how,
lot
which
of
way did you
ways,
go?
and me and
Yeah.
Lisa still have to sit down, but I got to educate her on just kind of my thought process. But, like where I started and kind of, whatever, and all these things. And I have mental health things I can discuss with her. I ain't going to do that with y'all right now. But, which have affected my clarity. That's why I was touching back on it's very important to be clear, which is
Mm-hmm.
where this is.
Mm-hmm.
But there are certain parts of certain songs or certain parts of the album that I was never going to change, but I was like, ugh. And mind you, I'm not out here going dumb, bad, or crazy, but I am giving it to you and wild style. So
Right.
there was parts of the album where I'm like, yeah, nah, nah. I've been even revisiting some 3 a.m. stuff. Like, man, yeah, we years ago we were saying this, and look at this, and I know how this
Mm-hmm.
sounds, but actually, you know what? It is what it is. I'm not really being apologetic about it anymore. So I'm just saying all that to say. I know it kind of went on a soliloquy, a tangent, and all the words you can associate with it, rabbit hole, and whatever. But it's right in front. I'm just having a hard time understanding. I will get and engage in certain conversations when I get a little more familiar with policies because I'm still going to bring it back to mindset. And you can talk all this all you want to, but like for real, what is going on here? Look at the wool he's pulled over your eyes. I don't care what you say. For those that are watching this, I don't really care. You like, oh man, I don't want to, because that's where we at right now. If somebody says something you don't agree with, then we can't follow each other, or we can't. Well, then it is what it is because I can't take what's happening. And the fact that if you subscribe to something that I clearly I don't understand how, it'd be different if it was another and I don't agree with, but you know what? I can kind of, none of that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is benefiting any of you guys that are supporting it. And that's that.
That's that. And then I just have and I'm just kind of putting this out there. So there was talks of Big P pardoning Diddy. Now you guys are up in arms about the government assistant and the food stamps. How would y'all feel if he pardoned Diddy? That's all I'm gonna say.
You
Uh,
know what? First of all, I read and they said that that was like untrue. They're not pardoning Diddy and X, Y, and Z. I'll tell you what, this is going to be very controversial. You can edit it out if you want to. I'll pause so you can get a clean edit if you want to. I'm going to pause. Then I'm going to go. He might as well pardon Diddy. You pardon the 1,200 people who committed the biggest insurrection on our U.S. government that you could possibly imagine. The nerve of you guys out here talking about Blue Lives Matter. The gall out here standing for law enforcement after he pardoned the people who disrespected the largest forms of our law enforcement. The nerve of you guys out here talking about Blue Lives Matter, and then the nerve of law enforcement to follow this narrative, to be out here bow pow happy, like Lisa said, in line with this rhetoric when he committed the biggest act of disrespect to this rhetoric. Any U.S. soldier, law enforcement, you guys should be up at arms. It almost should be a rebellion simply because of this. That don't even mean you got to agree with Kamala or anything. But you got to stand for something. The fact that you are carrying out this narrative when he committed the biggest act of insurrection against you. He started to defund the police, defund the FBI, and y'all went all with that. You went all with that, yeah, defund them. And now you want to twist that back to say, oh, Blue Lives Matter, law enforcement, bring them in here. He's just using y'all to do dirty work. He don't care about y'all either. And then I'm gonna unpause so Lisa can decide whatever she wants to do with that. I hope she keeps it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and keep it in there because I'm
Please.
sure that many people feel the way you feel.
The nerve.
I never try to edit your content. I try to edit, pauses or things that are just a distraction. But we're just all getting to the point, and that we've got to. Let me put this up. And no, I'm not a brand ambassador for Press Juicery. This is their prebiotic lemonade elderberry. This has 100% vitamin C, 29% fiber, and alive cultures. I'm going to say it again when it talks about mental health. Feed your mind. En Vogue had a song back in the day, Feed Your Mind.
And the rest will follow.
Scream, Michael Jackson. Marvin Gaye, what's going on?
This ain't new.
We've
They
been
ain't new to
talking about
this.
these things for decades,
This
guys. I
ain't
don't
this.
understand why y'all don't want to learn it from the past. Our past will tell you everything that you need to know. Um, Yeah, guys. So anyway, we're gonna move on. So guys, let's give some good news. The congratulations to my DMV sister, Taraji P. Henson, who scored a two-movie Netflix deal. I guess, honey, speaking up about pay has its benefits. Congratulations to Raji. You know, honey, we gonna see the movies, okay? We gonna make sure. You know, your girl might do a little movie review on it. So congratulations to Raji.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Um, Taraji is an example, and she said this. I might not be the beneficiary of this that I'm doing, but somebody will. A group of men and women will, even if I'm not.
Hmm.
And those are the sacrifices.
Yeah,
That's it right there. So
yeah.
while everybody's sitting up here on this high horse, on this bull crap, there's a lot that's been done, especially all you cats out here, all you brothers out here cooning for all this stuff. Remember, you wouldn't have a chair to coon on if those very same people that you're reprimanding in your coonship didn't sacrifice for you to be the coon you are. Straight
Yeah.
up. So, Taraji, forgive me. Hey, listen. Hey, man. Hey, this is me. So, Taraji, thank God that you are able to reap your flowers while you're still here and active from the stance you took. And it
Yeah.
wasn't a disrespectful stance, wasn't anything. It was compassionate, it was emotional, but it wasn't disrespectful. She took ownership in her place in it and her agreeing to do whatever, but it still doesn't take away when her counterparts who don't look like her are going through something different. It's like you're getting mad because Dean Withers and what's the other young white cat? Parker, I can't remember Parker's last name, and I don't even know if Parker's his first name or his last name. But he said specifically, I saw in a clip, he was like, it's like us white people are mad because the playing field is even.
Mm.
Blacks and people of color aren't asking for a leg up that us white people have had since the birth of this civilization.
Mm-hmm.
All these things were put in place to create it even. And we out here having a hissy fit because the playing ground is even, or
Right.
it strives to be even because it's still
Tribes is
not
still not
even.
even.
It never has been. So the nerve of you out here acting superior in a system in a land that you stole and then want to get mad at programs that are designed to create equality. And then you let certain people, and I'm not going to mention names because they're not here to defend themselves, but
Hmm.
that was one of the main rhetorics that they went on. Imagine if certain people weren't here. Imagine if Joy Reid wasn't here, if Michelle Obama wasn't here, if Miss Crockett wasn't here. Imagine if all these people weren't here. You know what he's saying? Look at the examples you wouldn't have. All they did was mess up the advantage that we had, or put a dent into the advantage we had. We got to get rid of that. Think of that narrative, you guys. This is what I'm saying. Come on, man.
Yeah.
But props to her. We'll see it. Glad you're here to still smell the flowers. Absolutely beautiful, talented. She's one of the ones that can do anything. She is literally one of the threats. She's literally one of the triple threats. Literally. So
Very
thank
proud.
God you're talented enough to be able to still get it.
Very, very proud. Absolutely. So, guys, Denise Richards' ex-husband, Aaron Pfeiffer, is it Pfeiffer's? Was
I don't know how to, I was hoping you would get it. I didn't know how to
yeah,
pronounce it.
I would say Pfeiffer's or Pfeiffer's. He was arrested anyway due to DV allegations. And Aaron
Vipers. I think it's Vipers.
Pfeiffer's, yeah.
Yeah.
And he has disagreed with all these charges, but I do remember pictures out with Denise having a black eye some years ago. And I guess Aaron said he just was thrown off because he was like, these charges were made years ago. And for all of a sudden I show up in court and I feel like I'm being set up because I'm being arrested. And the one thing I can tell men, don't underestimate a woman when it comes to court. You better beat her to court first. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of men, and I used to tell a lot of my friends, y'all think, oh, she ain't gonna do that. She ain't going. Men, be smarter when it comes to legal framework. Women are very good with details.
Yes, they are.
And so, because of that, it is better for you before you show up any court to make sure you talk to your lawyer. Hey, is everything good? I just want to make sure. Is there
Mm-hmm.
anything that I need to be worried about? Don't go in there
Facts.
thinking everything is just going to be like this way because I've seen a lot of men get bamboozled, like this type of situation happening. So, I don't know who's right, who's wrong in the situation, but obviously if DV did take place, I'm all gonna be team Denise for that. So
Yeah. Everybody had a little crush on Denise back in the day.
mhm.
Um, uh, yeah, I was just when you said you want to have your P's and Q's together because women are very detailed, and I'm going to quote Anthony Anderson's character in Two Can Play That Game when he said, "The FBI ain't got shh on a woman with a plan." So take that as you will, Aaron, and all my other fellow men out there. But again, if there was, you know me, I'm not, I don't understand DV. I didn't grow up in it. I don't see no place in it. That doesn't mean that everybody is squeaky clean. It doesn't
Mhm.
mean that everybody's innocent. Does not mean that, if the, you know, if the, gods were in play to where I could be blessed with a daughter, that I wouldn't be, there to do whatever I can to protect her and all these kinds of things. But I also would be explaining to her, listen, um, if you see red flags, you need to pay attention to them.
Mhm.
And just because a man ain't supposed to be hitting you, don't mean you need to be hitting on him.
Because it was happening, according to Denise, it had been happening throughout the relationship. And that's when accountability has to be put sometimes on women that, don't. And I think that's one thing I will go back to Gucci Man's wife. She says, I want to fix him. I don't believe in that.
Mm, mm.
Too many women, and I don't know if this is what Denise was doing. So, Denise, if I'm wrong, please forgive me. But a lot of women try to fix men. People have to be willing to fix themselves. It's okay to be supportive and be there. But I don't think you should ever be in the business of fixing anybody because you often got to fix yourself. And then my question is, if you're trying to fix somebody, then that tells me something about you.
Yeah, I agree 1000%. That did stick out to me. The the main grace I will give her on that is I don't know if she quite meant it like that, right? I
Yeah.
do think there was a sentiment in there, obviously. So I'm not, but let me be
Yeah, but
very
then
clear.
if you notice, she kept saying, "You're sick, you're sick." And I was like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
I didn't like the
that's what
way that landed.
I
So
agree.
I really believe I don't
No,
know.
no,
I
no.
just
I
didn't feel good
agree.
in my
No, no,
spirit
no.
with
That's
some of
not what
that.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is I do feel like there was, well, first of all, if there's some sort of resentment or whatever that has happened as opposed to as a result of you standing by Gucci's side in that sentiment, then maybe you just need to have that addressed because that where could be where a lot of that was coming from. You know, you're sick, you're sick, you're sick, you're sick type of stuff because of what she's had to endure when he's been on his episodes and the stuff that he said to her,
Hmm.
which could totally understand. Maybe
Hmm.
even though through all the love and all that, we're all human, maybe there's an inch of resentment there. So I'm only saying that to say that's usually when somebody acts out that way or channels their emotions in a way, like you said, that kind of rubs you the wrong way. Like, well, yeah, he's sick, he's sick, he's sick. You know, maybe through there, maybe there was some sort of collateral damage that happened that made her feel that way that maybe she needs to address. That's one thing. But even in that, again, trying to find a way to explain it because I agree with everything you're saying as far as you shouldn't be there to feel like you need to fix him. What I think, what I want to give her the benefit of the doubt and what she was
She's
trying to
supportive.
say,
She's very
based
supportive.
on, um, yeah, based on the tone of how she was explaining it, I think she was saying that I can help fix this, not necessarily fix him by some of these things that she does when she recognizes certain things that are triggering him. I can
Hmm.
help fix this. I
Right.
can help fix this. You're about to go on an episode. I can step in and help fix this. If you allow me to, I can help fix this. When he's about to go on an episode, I take his phone. I delete all of his apps. I change his password so that he doesn't go on and do all the
Hmm.
crazy stuff he was doing before. I can help fix this.
Right.
That's what I want to interpret what she was trying to say because that stuck out to me too. And I was like, no, you should never be around to feel like you can fix
Mm-mm.
somebody.
And then
So
I
I
also
agree with
think,
that.
yeah, and I think when someone's having an episode, I would say they're having an episode more than saying they're sick. You know, when I think about my family member that has mental health challenges, I would never say to him, "You're sick." I think, I don't know, I think that can be a little triggering. But my family member has these episodes, you know, and I got to remind him, like, hey, there's an episode happening right now, you know. But
Right.
the reason why I brought that up is because I do believe a lot of women, being a woman, we do feel like we can fix men. I think it's naturally in us, but I think we have to say what we have to say. And men have to rise up and make the decision to fix themselves. We can be supportive,
Yeah, I
but
agree.
if you lean too hard on one side, I've seen it happen to woman after woman after woman, you can lose yourself.
No, I agree. I
You can
agree. I'm
lose
just
yourself,
saying I'm not
completely.
disagreeing with that sentiment and how you felt when she said I fix him and all that kind of stuff. I agree with that. I just want to, based on the
No, I
content.
get what you're, I'm not,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
not a debate to you. I'm just saying this, and this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
from
yeah.
a
No, I get
woman's
it though. I hear you.
perspective.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And it's not that it doesn't go the other way. Being a person's cardboard box over and over and over, and I don't mean this in a negative way,
For sure.
Kiori and Gucci Man, people have to find their way.
Yeah,
And no one can do that work for them. They have to do that work, whether that's with medication, whether that's with diet, whether that's with exercise, because all of these things matter. When it comes to your mental health, if you don't think the diet doesn't play a part, you are fooling yourself.
yeah, for sure.
If you continue to put alcohol, fried foods in your body, it will mess up you mentally.
For
Sugar after
sure.
sugar, bad processed stuff. You can't think clearly. You can't be in nature's way because your body is so off. All of these play a part. So I'm really just encouraging women, just be mindful to help and support, but not lose sight of who you are. And I
For
think
sure.
that's the point that I wanted to make.
I
So,
agree.
guys, Winans went viral. So basically, there's a part one and there's a part two. So part one, the video that went viral, the lady came up, was like, "I'm gonna give you this," and and I'm paraphrasing it because y'all know I'm silly. And Marvin like, "No, ma'am, I said two G's, not one G and 200. I said two please. And that clip went viral and people were pissed because they're like, we don't care if you ask for $2,000. You know what I mean? People give what they need to give. So here's it in context. The full video came out because Fred Hammond tried to come and say, guys, y'all only heard half the video. But here's what the full video is. Marvin Winans gave specific instructions. If you're going to give 2,000, I want you to come up in this line. And then if you're going to give anything less than that, whether it's 250 or whatever, I want you to come up in this line. The lady came up at the wrong time. I still am not comfortable even with that.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Because I know as a leader, and this is the number one thing leaders often have to learn, even though it's in your mind, it's playing out perfectly, you think you've said it perfectly,
Right.
you have to understand that your education level is not the same as your parishioners that are sitting in the pews.
Right.
And that's leadership. Leadership, I have to understand that even though I tried to say it as clearly as I possibly could, I have to understand that my level of how I comprehend stuff is going to be different from this person, that, and then age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People from different countries. People can look black, but they could be from Jamaica and Trinidad and, and Ghana and all these different places. So the English is a little bit different. So the way people comprehend. And so I still think that I still would have embraced her with a little bit more love. Now, she was on the
Yeah.
news. I mean, it went
I
so bad that
agree.
she was on the news and she was like, no, he just wasn't trying to reprimand me. He was just correcting me, because I did it the wrong way. But it's not what you do, honey, it's how you do it. And the reason why this does not sit very well with a lot of people is this is the reason why a lot of churches are scarce now. Because the churches for many, many years have used this control over people financially. Who cares if she's up there at the wrong time? Baby, you came up at the wrong time, but you know what? Thank God that you're giving us something. Why are we even putting, like Charlemagne the God said, why are we even putting a dollar
I
tag on it
agree. I
anyway?
agree.
In
I
this
agree.
time and day.
I
In
agree.
this time of day when people are losing jobs, working and not getting paychecks, being yanked out of their homes, SNAP benefits, WIC benefits, all these things are changing. Why are we even trying to ask people to give me 1,000 from you and 2,000 from another friend?
Right.
Like those tactics, guys, things are changing.
Yeah.
And if we truly want God to bless us, we have to walk by faith, not by sight. I have to say, God, this is what I'm hoping for and believing for. And I tell the church what I'm hoping for and believing for. And I walk in faith that God is going to make that a realistic thing. So even though the full thing was played out, I get it. He wants things done in decency and order. But I would tell him and any pastors right now, guys, we are in different times right now. And
Yeah.
all of us have to be mindful. There's a reason why McDonald's brought the value menu back. There's a reason
They
why
sure did too. And
KFC
they ain't
said
the only ones.
okay, KFC said our chicken sandwich on it is three
Yeah.
ninety nine.
Yep. Yep.
There's a
Yep.
reason why, because we're seeing economically that things are changing. And we
Yeah.
can't I just told Aunt, wow, I'm gonna have to get rid of this subscription because
Yeah.
things are so crazy right now. We can't keep stuff that we really is not an asset right now because we don't know going into 2026 what could happen.
Right.
If this government shutdown continues to happen, you better believe aviation is going to be impacted even harder. People ain't
Right.
going to travel. These companies ain't going to be able to send people. It's going to start hitting everybody.
Right.
Even the ones who it don't want to hit, it's going to start hitting everybody, and a better change is going to be made.
Hmm.
So I would just say that pastors, you guys have to be a little bit more mindful. And while anything you have to say to that?
Yeah, I could not agree more. I thought that second and echo everything you said regarding the financial times and struggles that we're all in. If somebody is coming to worship and they brought their butt up here and stand in the line, if they gave $12.35, they gave
$5.
12.35. Depending on where that person lives, that could be their mortgage that they gave you. I don't see where there's a place for reprimand at all. Now, again, in my fantasy land, I have a I have a problem with church and finances. And I say my fantasy land because I understand it takes finances to run a church, right?
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Truthfully. Yeah.
I get it. Fully get it. That's been part of my problem. It's because of stuff like this. And this isn't even just to come down on whinings, but I'm just saying, like at my parents' old church, there was this big, like they would almost judge you. We just went on a whole judgment path and misusing God, right? They would judge you if you weren't in this certain bracket of donation and all this other kind of stuff, and they would look down upon you. And I just don't know where any of that's godly,
Yeah.
right? And so, with that said, this person came up and gave you $1,235.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, ma'am. That's as easy as thank you so much. We appreciate you, sister. Da, 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 all the giving her all the love and praises. Da, da, da. Hey, this was the $2,000 line, X, Y, and Z.
Right.
You know, there was a, or even on the spot. Oh, you got to talk. You know what, ma'am? All good. This is fantastic. Hey, we're gonna do this. What we're gonna do is just we're gonna position you over here. You'll be the, you know, I just feel like there was a I don't like that. That
Mhm.
if I were somebody who were looking to go somewhere and I saw that, that could leave me with a not so appetizing
Yeah.
taste.
Like, yeah, I don't want to go there.
I
I don't
don't
want to
want
feel
to
that pressure.
feel that pressure,
We already
right?
had
I
it.
don't want to,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to feel that pressure. I don't want to feel looked down upon when I'm supposed to be coming to worship.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I agree with that whole sentiment. I didn't like that. Now it was a misunderstanding. I get all that, but all the $2,000 people over here and all the like, if you selling something, just sell it. That's kind of what it feels like to me.
Absolutely. And I just
Don't
think those days are
describe
over.
it in the form of, and again, I'm trying to get on him specifically. I'm talking about the whole system. Me,
Right.
and God rest her wonderful soul, me and Zipporah, my mother used to have this conversation. We used to debate about this for hours. If you're selling something, just sell it.
And a lot of these women, they're given everything that they have to
Yeah,
where they
dude.
don't have no more.
1235 was probably everything she had.
And that's what she said. I'm gonna get the rest, and bless her heart. Bless
Come
her
on, man.
heart. Bless her heart, and so I love the Winans, always will love the Winans, but I think this was a misstep. We gonna give you grace. We love you, just like I hope you give us grace, for saying that what we needed to say. But I do think that that was it would have been a misstep, and I think the world is trying to show you that, just
Yeah,
because we are an authority or in leadership, it doesn't mean that we don't make errors because we do. We all do,
right,
and it's not
right,
fun.
right.
And social media will have a way to kind of let you know. Because I can
Yeah.
tell you the full video, they weren't happy with that either. All right, guys. So what about all of the things that you said? What about all I'm walking off the stage? What about all of that? Okay. The boy is mine. So as you guys know, the awesome Brandy and Monica kicked off their world tour, The Boy Is Mine. They stopped in Chicago. I think this was like the third state. They were having mechanical audio issues, and I could hear when Brandy, just because I am a crazy and Wakata, I think I played sitting up in my rooms too
Oh
many
man.
times. And wow, no. Oh my God.
One
Sit
of
up
my
in
favorite
my
slappers.
room.
I play sitting up in my
Are
room like I'll play
you
that. I'll be playing DMX and have
something
that come on the
when
playlist. Yeah,
you
for sure. For sure.
I am a fan of Brandy. For people in LA, they saw me perform Brandy all around. I love, 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 love Brandy. So when she sung this one line before she turned around, I said, uh-oh. I don't know if that was the track or that was Brandy. And all of a sudden, Brandy turned around and she was off the stage. Now, what I know in past history with Brandy, Brandy has not toured a lot. There was this fear that she had back in the day. I know some people would say she's just a perfectionist. That could be it too as well. But I know she had this fear. And so I feel like this is really her embarking on something very different. and I know she'll pull through. Brandy to me is one of the baddest singers out there, which is why they call her, what is that, the Bible vocals?
Something
Whatever it
like
is,
that.
she can sing, and she can sing a lot of octaves, and she does it in this very special way. And a lot of people talked about her outfits, them being too hot, because obviously when she walked off stage at this concert in Chicago, you can see her going to the audio booth to check on the audio booth. I'm sure everybody saw the video, right? And then, she just ended up walking off stage. A lot of people talked about her clothing was too heavy and just all these different things.
Right.
Um, and a lot of people was like, Brandy's lying. She's trying to say it's dehydration. I think it was something else, for whatever reason. And none of us really know what it is. I mean, if she was getting dehydrated or whatever, again, going back to that health, where's her people at? She's been in this game for a long time, and she's had problems with dehydration already before. So if that was true, and being a Brandy fan, I want to believe what Brandy said. It just goes back to, guys, we've got to take care of ourselves. And Brandy's a very thin girl. So
Right.
size doesn't really matter. You can get
Right.
sick regardless. You know what I mean? Touring is
Yeah.
any type of excessive work you're putting on your body. If you don't get proper rest and you don't eat right, it's going to catch up with you.
Yeah.
It's going
I
to catch up with you.
even so you had mentioned her like anxiety, which is crazy to say as somebody as successful as she is and whatever. But even I saw a video of like a clip where it
Hmm.
was like Brandy and Monica kind of interviewing each other. And
Hmm.
even Monica had said that, like Brandy said something, because they were just whatever. And Brandy was like, well, I'm shy or whatever. And she was like, no. And Monica like paused. She was like, no, no, no. She's like, I know that. She was like, and I really realize that now. I don't know if I always realized that. She said, but I really realize that now. She said, so that's why I approach you with a lot more, care and stuff than maybe I had in the past.
Right.
She's like, because I really observed, like, that's real with you. It's not no
Hmm.
game, like you, whatever. So I thought that was a really dope moment. And I guess initially it was a sound thing, but then dehydration. And to Lisa's point, you don't know when that's going to hit, like, um, with the outfits, all that kind of stuff, her being anxious, the sound not working the best, all these things they
Played a
could all be
part in it.
affecting one another. So,
Hmm.
and she didn't come back out. And
Yeah.
through a lot of the things I've seen, though, Monica's still giving her love and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And I just hope going forward, because I know a lot of people, it doesn't matter, black, white, old, young, like Monica said, Ariana Grande called her personally and asked if she could do The Boy Is Mine and just
Right.
expressed her fanship and all that kind of stuff. So it's you, which is dope because then you really realize how much these people have influenced a lot of the people now,
Admiration.
right? And a
Yeah.
lot of times it can get lost because
Yeah.
you don't hear them given the props like they should. So yeah, I liked it. As far as the compassion Monica showed.
Hmm.
I
But
know a lot of
Chicago want
people,
their money back. Chicago said, y'all need to refund my ticket.
yeah, and I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I'm not.
Chi-Town said,
Listen, I can see, how we do it. We keep it real. I can see that side of it too. I know if I, wanted to go,
they want to see the boys' mind, honey.
yeah, I'm
They said,
saying
we
they
need to
wanted.
hear
That's
that
what they
song.
came to see. That everything else was fluff leading up to
Oh,
that.
I felt it feels like I really wanted you as you told me. And you want to say another thing. I really didn't want to hold you back. They didn't get to see it, but I could have did it. I mean, I could have played both of them. Boy is mine, mine. Oh, hell. Yeah.
So yes, Chicago. No, she could have though. She could have did both of them hot.
I love
Um,
them too.
so, but I understand Chicago won their money back too, though. I get that too. I get it.
Absolutely.
But just hope, thoughts, and prayers. I actually would
Hope she feels
love it in a
better.
perfect world. Again, it's easier said than done. If some type of way they were able to circle, if they're not able to give Chicago their money back, what I think Chicago would really like
Circle
would be
back.
if they could circle back I think Chicago would be perfect with that.
And they said Kelly Rowland was having issues too, but Kelly pushed through it. But you got to understand, Kelly was under Beyonce.
Yeah,
And the one thing you definitely probably learned training under Beyonce, and Matthew knows, the show will go on.
for sure.
Y'all saw Beyonce have 1,000 things go wrong at this last concert. The show must go on.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
that's the one thing you got. If you can't get it fixed, let's just do it. But the show has to go on because people
Yeah,
have paid those tickets. So anyway, sweetie Brandy, we hope you heal. We love you so much and can't wait to see
word.
you guys in concert. So last topic before we get into our inspirational quote for the day. BrianMcKnight is celebrating that he's getting 8.8 million off of his
He was
former wife's book.
celebrating his former wife's book deal.
He says character assassination. He posted this video and a voicemail. Um, of his wife kind of saying some inappropriate things, and you see him kind of skipping outside. And he actually posted this video on his son's birthday, who is no longer with us. And I don't know if his point was trying to say, I'm posting this on Nico's birthday because I want Nico to see that I was trying to get in contact with you. Your mother wouldn't let me because you hear the mother on the voicemail saying, do not call us no more. Do not do this. And Brian has always said, hey, I tried to talk to my son. I tried to talk to my son, but the mother wasn't allowing me. However, most people agreed. People were saying that they saw him performing at a casino for $17 and another place, and they said they didn't even show up. And so they ended up canceling his concert. But it just was tacky. I think it just was tacky. And I think Brian, I don't, I don't know. That's not the Brian McKnight. Um,
That's
I,
the
I
dis.
just, I saw the video and I just was, wow. And I heard the wife's voice, and I mean, she seems pretty angry, but you have to understand, she's speaking in a context of situations that have happened that you and I don't know about. So when I hear a woman talk like that, I know that that's for a reason why she's saying, "Don't call me." Um, but yeah, Brian, I think some things you should just keep off the internet, and this is one of them.
I agree. That's kind of disappointing. I mean, yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, yeah. So, guys, lastly, as you know, we're so thankful for that interview with Gucci Man. Thank you to the Breakfast Club and his beautiful wife, Kiori. We want to end again talking about mental health because, guys, it's subtle things. You may not think when something's continue to bother you or you can't get certain events out of your head. When I tell you mental health can creep up and it's very real for each and every one of us, and you need a support system or you need to go to therapy or you need to have some serious conversations with yourself to try to get the help, whether it's affirmations,
Yeah.
things you need to do. It is truly a health concern. And we've seen, we talked about in Charlotte how the guy had hurt the young woman. His mom has said he had mental health issues. This is
Yeah.
very, very real. If
Yeah.
you don't feel right, get the help, get the help, get the help. So here's our inspirational quote, and it is tying into mental health. You are not your illness. You have a name, a history, a personality. Staying yourself is the battle. Let me say
Mm.
that again. You are not your illness. Separate yourself. You have a name. I'm Lisa. You have a history, the history I've made in my ancestry, a personality, me, big personality, Lisa. Stand yourself is the battle. The world will try to tell me to do, and I got to go viral, and I got to do a video this way, and I got to do, but Lisa doesn't want to often do that. So I have to fight to stay myself. And that is the daily battle.
Mm.
And wow.
In this world of labels that's only getting worse by the second, which is why I myself have had the impassioned words that I've spoken in this podcast regarding our state. Um, it's important to remember in the event of having an illness, it's just a part of your story. It is not your story,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's just a part of it's a part of the game. What they say, charge it to the game. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Just charge it to the game. Just a part of the game. It is not your story. It's just something that's a part of your journey. And if used in a healthy way, you can help a lot of people with it. Because it's different to hear advice from somebody who gives you great tools, um, and all that good stuff. That whole advice is different coming from somebody who's actually, dealt with whatever this situation is. You are yourself. The best thing you can do is find that and stay true to
Mhm.
that. Do not get lost up in whatever they feel you should be. And that's part of whatever that illness is. Whatever the stereotype about that illness is, again, we've talked about personal family. I have personal family
Hmm.
that this is super applicable to. And it is on a few it's very close.
And it
Let's
bleeds
say that.
out to all the family.
Oh
It
man,
bleeds out
come
because we're
on,
trying to
man.
manage. So we're speaking from experience, guys. We
Come
really
on,
are.
man. It is, and unfortunately, certain people will define themselves. They don't want to be tied to the requirements it takes to deal with and manage said illness, but they tie themselves to the excuses that the illness provides.
Yep.
That is huge because now that literally affects everybody. See what I'm saying? So it is very important. If you are around those that love you, that take the time to care about you, because there's some people who you've known your whole life that don't take the time to care about you the same way that somebody you've known 3 years. That's just keeping it real. So if you have those that have taken the time to give a dang about you, to reach out to you and say, "Hey, what's up, man? How you doing, man? Thought about you today. What's cracking?" Just on the humbug. For those people, if you truly care, then it is important for you to be that version of yourself that makes them want to reach out to you. And a good way of doing that is by realizing that you are not your illness. You have a name, a history, a personality. Staying yourself is the battle. Because when you do that, that's going to entice and make people want to reach out and check in on you. Because in doing that, they're going to want to be around you. They're going to want to converse with you. There's something that they're going to gain from the interaction that they have today with you. And if you are one of these people that don't want to be responsible for the actions it takes to manage this illness, yet want to use this illness as a reason why you should get excuses for your behavior, then you're going to be one of those people that don't have people wanting to be around that and checking in on you the way that you probably feel they should. And if that's important to you, this phrase and this saying, it can't get no closer to home than that.
Exactly. Guys, so we're gonna wrap it up. We know this show is a little bit more heavier than normal, but we stand in this world wanting to make a difference and not just be a part of a gimmick. Mental health is real, real. Mental health is real, real. And we're seeing people spaz out online every day. You might think they're being crazy, but they really might be dealing with the illness. So I encourage people to have compassion for these people you see online. Have compassion for some of your family members and have compassion for yourself if you feel like you're struggling. It's okay. That's the battle. The battle
Hmm.
is trying to be yourself in a world that is telling you you have to be everything but yourself.
Right.
Anyway, guys, blessings to each and every one of you. If you are new to the show, thank you. We welcome you. We air every Friday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And guys, if y'all don't, please like, subscribe, comment, share, do one of those things. We really appreciate it. Thank you for all the love last week. We did really good in views, so we thank you for that too as well. We got a comment. We appreciate that too as well, guys. We will see you next week. Bye.